Hello, welcome back. Hope you're all well. I've just broke my tripod, so you're on a selfie stick. I'm going to try to hold you as still as I can, but it's not easy. You know how it is. So yeah, what I'm doing on Saturday morning now is some mini projects. Not every Saturday, but they're going to come up on a Saturday. And the first one we're going to start off with, funny enough, is this mini Moto. I don't ask me why, I just shoved it under my arm last night and I just walked down and carried it in. I don't know why, I just see it, I picked it up. I thought, I don't know if I'm going to try to get it running or not. I didn't even think about it, I just picked it up. Yeah, it's been sitting there like for years. I've had these about 10, 11 years. I've got two of these minis, and I've got a MIDI as well, race bike. Also, I just brought it in and I set it where it is there, and I thought, what am I going to, I'm trying to get you so you can see. And I just thought to myself, you know, what the hell am I going to do with it? Because they're just sitting there rotting away. And I'm not going to restore it because Martin from Retro Restore has just literally just done one. And he's done a really nice job of it as well. You need to go and check that out if you like your mini motos. But it's all plastic coated and all this. I couldn't get mine up. There's no way I could get this to that standard. Not unless you want to do some mates rates. I'll send the bits over to you. But yeah, no, joke aside, it's a really nice looking bike, it is. So I don't want to do that because it's been done. And then I'll see a bit further away. There you go, you might be able to see it. That's better. Now I was looking at it last night, sitting on there. It's a bit of a job to see it. You probably won't see what I see last night. And I was thinking, it reminds me of the 1200 Bandits and the 600 Bandits, because a lot of them got wrote off because the bracket that comes down for the rear pegs is metal on the Mark 1, and what happened when they fell over is they twisted the frames, so some of them got reframed with like an alley type box frame. A lot of people done that to change them, and then they made them into Street Fighters. And they put the jack up kits which made them sit high. Obviously this is a dirt bike. And we've got this storm going over at the moment. I think that's what's trying to do. Anyway, yeah, so it reminded me of that. So I thought, oh, I could try to convert it to a Street Fighter. And then I don't know how we'll see it because it's getting dark. The back seat, the back end, I thought could easily be made to look like a calf race type thing, but I wasn't really happy with the idea anyway. I went indoors to think more of it, and then I come down this morning, well 10 minutes ago I should say, and I sat down there and I just looked at it and I thought, oh, I know what I can do with that. Now there's a channel, well, a bloke called Craig Jones, and he's got a channel called The Doghouse, and He does all kinds of things. He's got like a turbo bike, he's got a GS 850 bit he's doing, but his main bread and butter stuff is Royal Enfields, the Indian ones, and he converts them into these bobbers, hardtail bikes, and they are fantastic. But it's not, I'm not going to build something like he builds, but that's what I've been watching, and that gave me the idea of what I'm going to do with this mini Moto dirt bike. So I'm going to cut it down and try not to be about, but I'm going to cut the back then down. I'm going to make it a hardtail, and that's the plan. Now how well we're going to get on with this, I don't know. I'm dreading it because we've got a couple of problems. Now the first problem is I'm no good at metalwork. Mechanical side, I'm fine, but metalwork is something I love to fiddle, but I've no idea what I'm doing. So this is going to be, that's like the hiccup number one. So this brings me to problem number two. Now the problem number two is going to be the petrol tank. As you can see, it's got a plastic tank, and I can put a smaller tank on that. I can put like a strimmer tank or something like that. There's plenty. I've got an old steel petrol tank up there I can use. Not a problem. But obviously I need to cover it, and really what it should have is like an oval type tank. I've not got the skills or whatever to make that. I'm pretty convinced of that. I know damn well I haven't. So maybe it'll be like a bit more choppified. I can make it more choppified and go back like to the 70s, 80s and have like a coffin tank. So that's one problem I've got to do. I've got to figure out how to make things like, because this is something I haven't done. I've never done that sort of stuff. I made a few little brackets and stuff up now, but I've never made anything out of, out of metal to look anything, The other problem is, normally what you would do, you take the front mudguard off and you would put it on the back, because it's a shorter, smaller mudguard, and then you obviously cut it down to cover the wheel. Now obviously these only have plastic mudguards, so yeah, that's a bit of a problem. Obviously each one hasn't got one and the other one's broke up. The plastic on these are crap. You see, you still don't even see it from there, but the plastic is actually on this bike on the other side. It just fell in half last night when I picked it up. Yeah, the mudguards are absolute crap, and they don't even look like a mudguard. They are absolute shit. They are the sort of one thing that really ruins the look of them. So I'm going to have to make something up, or maybe I can get a push bike one and make it wide enough, or so. I don't know, no idea. So then we've sort of three major problems, but like I say, the major one is I'm no good at metalwork. But the idea of this project is to, so you learn, and if you don't try, what's the worst? We can chuck it in a skip at the end of it. But the idea is to cut that frame down, cut all that bit off up here. All this bit we don't need. The bar will sort of basically comes, this line will follow down. I'll say this line. It's so hard, on a selfie stick to point things out. This line here will follow down towards the back. I don't know why, it's just like filming in reverse, isn't it? It's horrible. I hate it. Yeah, so that's the plan. So it's going to take a few weeks. It's going to be over sort of a couple of weeks, I should imagine, 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a bit more. The idea is I'm going to make a seat plate up, and then we're going to get that covered. I'm going to leave that to Heidi to decide how to cover that. It'll only be like a sponge type cover, so you don't, you are saying on the metal. I'm not too worried about cutting that out. That's sort of something, the only sort of bit I've got a bit of confidence in, because it's just cutting, and I've done quite a bit of that now. But yeah, it's going to be one hell of a learning curve. So I think it's time to start stripping it down. The exhaust has got to come off, and bits and pieces, the rest of the plastic, the seat, there's not a lot to it, but we best crack on with it. Yeah, I've took all the plastics off, seat off, obviously the exhaust is off. I'm going to show you the exhaust in another video, because that's really badly made, and they've restricted it with weld. I'll have to show you that. A bit disappointed. I was disappointed as soon as I fitted it, because the one on the other one was a lot better. But anyway, that's all off. This line here is where the petrol tank ends. This line here is where the seat starts to go along here. So in the next video what I'm going to do is cut here, cut here, cut here, and then what we're going to do is bring this, continue this along. Obviously the spring arm will be up higher, will be level, so we drop the height, and yeah, they'll match in hopefully. So we drop the back end, and then obviously the front end is going to be too long or too high, so I've got two options there. I can either chop the forks down or make it look more choppified. We'll see what it looks like when we've got it all down. Another thing I've got to do is cut the brackets off for the pegs, and somehow move them forward, because it would be wrong to have the seat there and the pegs, but I know it'd probably be unrideable, but we'll worry about that when it happens. Right, I'm going to call it a night. Tea time, so I've got to go in. And in the next video, like I said, we'll chop them bits off and start making some bits and pieces for it. It is really for me just to practice on more than it is to sort of show the bike or do whatever. It's just more for me to practice on, and I thought I'd film it. But it's another little project I'm doing. I'm often doing silly little things like this, and I don't put it on camera anymore because, like I say, I haven't found the, you know, I don't think people were interested in mini motos and stuff anymore. It's old school stuff now. And yeah, so like I say, it's an ideal thing for me just to practice on, and hopefully we have something half decent at the end of it. Like I say, these are only going to be, these small project things like this are only going to be on a Saturday. They're not going to be on every week. Probably one maybe the odd time we get 2 videos on, something like that. Anyway, the church bells are ringing. I dare say you can hear that, so it's time for me to go in. Remember, it's okay not to be okay, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. See you soon.